Y'all, it is truly these pigments for me. Look at the pigmentation. Look at the eye. Look at the Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So before I get into this tutorial, I just wanted to let y'all know, since so many people have been asking for virtual makeup classes, I will be partnering with NARS Boutique Soho to do a virtual online masterclass via Zoom on Sunday, February 28th at 5 o'clock p.m. And each ticket includes a $50 NARS gift card. So if you buy a ticket, you will have $50 to spend at this NARS boutique to buy any NARS product of your choice. And you can RSVP with the number that was shown on the little flyer. So yes, I'm super excited for that. And yes, come see me, give my little masterclass, and everyone is welcome, of course. So to jump right into this tutorial, I already started off with one eye done just because I didn't really know what direction I was going in with this tutorial. I just wanted to do something really colorful and use all these pigments. So of course I'm starting off with my P. Louise base in the shade 0 to prime her eye. And as always, I just let the primer sit for a little bit before I start to blend it out, so it can be a little tacky, because it just works best when it's a little dry rather than it being very wet, because the color doesn't stick as well. And now I'm just going to go ahead and blend it out. So now I'm just going in with my Beauty by Melissa and Playing in Makeup by Yolanda palette, and I'm just using a kind of dark navy blue to build up some color in her crease. And then I'm also going to go into more of a bluish green color. And then at the very top of her eye as a transition color, I go in with a light blue / teal color just to bring everything together. And as you can see, I'm kind of bringing this color into like a cat eye type of look just to prepare me to cut the crease, so I can kind of have a guide, if that makes sense, just so that I'm not cutting the crease and that there's no eyeshadow over there at all. So I just want to make sure that I'm placing the eyeshadow in the shape that I know that I'm going to cut the crease. So now I'm going in with this bluish greenish color. It's kind of like a teal that's in the palette, and I'm just building this color up right on top of that blue and still following that kind of cat eye shape that I'm going to cut her crease in. And this was another good reason why I did one eye off camera, just so that I kind of knew what I was going for, to kind of speed up the process. It just makes it, you know, a little easier so that I know what exactly I'm doing, so that I can properly show you, rather than trying to freestyle, you know, two eyes at the same time. So as a transition color, I'm going in with this kind of lightish blue, this like powder blue color, to kind of diffuse the dark blues and just make it look very seamless. And then I go back in and build up that crease color. I just want to make sure the contrast between the pigments and the crease are, you know, very pigmented so that you can clearly see, you know, how crisp that cut crease is. So now I'm going in with a makeup remover on this wet wipe just to kind of cut her crease, and this definitely made the process way easier because I was able to kind of cut the crease before actually cutting the crease. So I kind of just used this as a guide. And here's the product I use, just an oil-free makeup remover from Neutrogena. And after doing that, you always want to make sure that you pat it dry because at the end of the day, it is a makeup remover. So you don't want to keep, you know, piling more product up there with, you know, makeup remover on her eye. So I'm once again going back in with the P. Louise base, and I'm going to cut her crease. And as you see, I pretty much cut her crease with the makeup remover. So this is going to make this process 100 times easier, 100 times faster. And with working with pigments, you don't want to have a bunch of layers, which is why I chose to do this. When working with pigments, you want to make sure that everything is as crisp and as clean as possible, or else the pigments will get very chalky and they will start to fall off the eye. It's usual to have, you know, fallout with a pigment because, you know, at the end of the day, it is a powder, but you want to prevent fallout as much as possible. So a good tip to prevent that is to make sure that your base is properly set and that you don't have a bunch of layers of eyeshadow, a bunch of layers of eyeshadow primer, because, you know, if you watch any of my other tutorials, you know that I would usually just cut the crease with, you know, whatever eyeshadow is on the eye. But because we're working with pigments today, I wanted to make sure that the base under the pigments were perfect, nice, white, and clean. And now I'm just tapping that base in place to make sure that, you know, there's no creasing or anything like that. So now I'm going to go in with the first shade from this neon pigment stack, and this neon pigment stack is from the Makeup Plug Cosmetics on Instagram, and of course I will have all of the products that I use from them tagged below in the description box. But I really love this white pigment because it's not just a white chalky pigment. It has a little bit of shimmer in it. So it just makes it even more buttery and helps it blend even more. And the next shade that I'm using is this neon yellow pigment. And it blended so well into that white because, like I said, it's more of a shimmery white. It's not like that chalky, you know, ashy white with a lot of pigments that I've used. They kind of fall off, especially if it's that white color, but this pigment did not do that. And it gave a very nice shimmer, very nice shine, and just helped it blend into this yellow. Then I'm moving on to this orange shade, and I'm slowly using this orange shade as a transition color between the yellow and the pink. So I'm placing very little. And the key to these pigments is learning how to place them properly and knowing how much to use. So moving on to this pink shade, as you can see, I don't apply a lot. I'm applying a very thin layer because if you apply too much, the pigment won't stick to the base. And you always want to make sure that your pigment is sticking to the base, or else it'll get clumpy and start to fall off. And moving on to this purple shade, I'm just applying each shade right on top of the shade before it, just so that they can blend together. And like as you'll see with this blue shade, I apply a little bit of the blue on top of the purple so that the blue and the purple can kind of create their own color and then go into separate colors. So you have like a blue, a mix between purple and blue, purple, pink, a mix between pink and orange, a mix between orange and yellow, and so on and so forth. So then to top it off, I also went in with their loose pigment, and this is more of a shimmer just to give the eye some pop. Like I said, this white is already very shimmery, but I just wanted to pop some more. And these colors are so blinding, y'all. Like, you can't even really see how they looked in person on the camera. It's just that blinding. Like, they're that neon that you can barely see. Like, the camera isn't even picking it up. But on the top of the eye, I'm also going to cut the crease with a liner. And as you saw, I applied some lash glue before I'm doing the liner, just because it kind of helps the liner stick a little bit, because you know it has like that sticky consistency to, you know, go on top of. So I just put a little bit of lash glue, and now I'm starting off with that pink liner that I showed. And like I said, y'all, these colors are blinding. Like, you can't even tell that this is pink. It looks white right now, but you will see in the end that it is pink. And I did like a pink to purple ombre liner. So right now I'm working on the pink, and then as I get towards the end where you have the blue and the purple, it'll be a pastel purple liner. And once again, I will have all of these products listed below in the description box, as well as links to these products if you would like to buy them. And if you do, you can use my code IT'sNEF for 15% off of your purchase from any product from the Makeup Plug Cosmetics. So after I've completed that liner, I just went in and added some, you know, regular black liner with my NYX liner. And this was a little bit different for me. I've never really done dramatic liner to this extent. So it was different, to say the least. I kind of just freestyled this look, honestly. I really like the fact that this model had a lot of eye space, so it just gave me a lot to work with. So I was really able to just be creative and do what I wanted to do. With anything, you know, pigment, eyeshadow, it's always going to be some fallout. So I just wiped off all that fallout that was on her face with a wet wipe, and then went ahead and applied her lashes, of course. And yes, look at those lashes. And my lashes are always from AliExpress. I can't really tag them for you guys. I mean, it's really just random vendors off AliExpress that I buy lashes from, honestly. So nothing, you know, specific. And so now I'm moving on to the face, and I'm just prepping her face with some moisturizer. I use the Pond's Dry Skin moisturizer, and now I'm going in with my Angel Veil primer that I use in every video. I love this primer. And now I'm going to cut out her, well, not cut out, but kind of sharpen her liner. And I just zoomed in a little bit so you guys can see how I did this. I really wanted the eye to kind of have that winged out shape, so I really wanted to make sure that the liner was very precise, which is why I kind of recarved out the top of the brow and did the liner at the same time, so it kind of gave that shape, and it was just very nice and precise and even. So I'm switching it up a little bit today, and instead of using my NARS foundation like I usually do, I'm using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Foundation in the shade 445. And I just placed that all over her face, and now I am blending it out with a Real Techniques brush. And I just really wanted to take my time and really press this foundation into the skin. I really love the Fenty Beauty foundation. It's kind of a hit or miss for me. Sometimes it depends, but I realized that if I really just take my time and blend it out very slowly, that I get the best outcome versus just quickly doing it very fast like I'm used to doing. But if you really take your time, this foundation really comes out looking like skin, and as you can see, that is her skin. So now I'm going in with my Trophy Beauty concealer in the shade Tan Dark. And I'm just going to go ahead and spread that out under her eyes, on her chin, and on her forehead. And also making sure that I carve out the top of her eyebrows when placing that concealer. And then I'm contouring her face, cream contouring her face with the Anastasia Beverly Hills foundation stick. And I'm just blending out her concealer. And I love this concealer. I love how creamy it is. It was a great color match for her. You know, it wasn't too brightening, but it also gave that full coverage look. It dries kind of semi-matte. So it just looks great. Like, especially when recording, it videographs very well. So I really love this concealer. And then I'm blending out the contour with the same brush that I used for her foundation, just because I don't like the contour to be very strong. So it's easy to just, you know, use the same brush that I used for her foundation. So it's like a mixture of contour and foundation. So it gives a, you know, contour look, but not too strong. For setting powder, I'm using a mixture of Sacha Buttercup for brightening, as well as the Fenty Beauty Hazelnut setting powder, which kind of matches her complexion a little bit more to set her face. And I'm also mixing that in with the Laura Mercier, I don't know, y'all. I never get it right. But that brand translucent medium deep setting powder to give her more of a bronzy set, if that makes sense, because I don't want her face to be, you know, majority Sacha Buttercup, because that'd be too light for her. And I kind of just carved out her cheekbones just a little bit, and I'm also going over that contour and setting it with loose powder before I actually set it with bronzer slash contour powder. So while I have all the setting powder on her face, I'm going to go ahead and do her bottom lash line, which I'm going to use this beautiful glitter, which is also from the Makeup Plug Cosmetics. And this is their glitter in the shade Lavender Dreams. And I'm going to apply this on her bottom lash line. And I'm not necessarily baking, I'm just making sure that I have powder there so that it can catch any glitter fallout, any pigment fallout while I work on the rest of her face. So please don't ask me, how long do you bake? Because I do not bake. I'm just using this as a barrier so that there's not a lot of fallout on her face while I work on, you know, continuing her eyes and everything else. And I love how this glitter definitely made her eyes pop. I didn't know which shade I was going to use, but then I was like, duh, pink. Well, this is technically lavender, but it's like a pinky lavender, so, you know, close enough. So now I'm going in and I'm contouring her face with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cappuccino powder bronzer. And I also went in with a little bit of the, I actually forgot the name of this bronzer, but it will be in the description box below. But just to give her face a little more structure. And then, of course, I'm going to do her nose as well. Now I'm going in and I'm pretty much just pressing that leftover powder into her skin. So like I said, not really baking, just pressing everything else, you know, that's left over into her skin to absorb any oils and, you know, get rid of any fallout, any glitter, etc., etc. And I really wanted to make sure that her nose was snatched. So I'm just applying a little bit more powder on the sides of her nose so that the bridge of her nose can be, you know, extra. And then I just went ahead and applied some bottom lashes to make her eyes pop even more. And I loved how these looked. I also got these bottom lashes from AliExpress, of course. If you just type in bottom lashes, they should come right up. They're in a pack. And then, of course, I had to use my Fenty Beauty Mocha Mami bronzer to give her face a little bit of a warmth. So now I'm just setting her face, and you want to make sure whenever you're setting your client's face that if they have a pigment on their eye, you want to cover their eyes as best as you can, because you don't want the pigments to get wet because they kind of act funny. So boom, now I'm moving on to the lips, and y'all have been on me about these disposables. Y'all comment on every YouTube video about disposables. So you know what I did? I went out and got some disposables. Well, actually, it was a gift from one of my best friends. But I got some disposables for y'all so y'all can leave me alone about it, y'all. I'm so tired. I got some disposables just for y'all because y'all seem to dislike the alcohol method, even though the purpose of alcohol is to disinfect. But since y'all asked, I provided and I got some disposables. But as you can see, I'm still going to have to use some products straight from its tube because a matte lipstick like this, I cannot use a disposable for. Well, I could, but it's going to be a disaster and it's truly pointless. But I just lined her lips with like a brown lipstick and then, well, a brown matte lipstick. And then I put a pink lipstick from MAC in the middle. And then lastly, I went in with my Simone Aesthetic lip gloss in the shade Melted and placed it right on top to give her lips some gloss. And I really love this lip gloss too. It smells so great and it's like the perfect nude gloss. And if you'd like to buy that, you can also use my code IT'sNEF for money off as well. And as you can see, this lip combination gave her that perfect nude. It's not too light of a nude, it's not too dark of a nude. It's like a cute nude that, you know, complements her eye. So I really love how this lip came out. And now I'm just going in with my Fenty Beauty highlighter in the shade Moscow Mule / Ginger Binge. And it's like a pinkish highlighter. Sometimes I use it as a blush, sometimes I just use it as a highlighter. But yes, just to give her cheeks a pop of pink and a pop of shine. And yes, that is pretty much it. Here she is holding this pigment stack, which is once again from the Makeup Plug Cosmetics. In addition to the products that I used in the video, I also got those liners that I just showed, as well as a bunch of glitters that they sent me. Obviously, I wasn't able to use all the liners and all the glitters, but I wanted to make sure that I could incorporate as much products as possible to show you guys and let y'all know that these products are really the bomb. So don't ever say that I never told y'all where to get some pigments, where to get some glitters, where to get some lip gloss. Don't ever say I never told y'all, because I did. And yes, you can see how bomb her eyeshadow turned out, how bomb her everything turned out. I was 100% in love. Look how pigmented those pigments were. And I just wanted to make sure I included a bunch of different videos so that y'all can see how the pigments look in different lighting. And yes, these pigments are truly the bomb. So yes, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. And like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see next. And sign up for my masterclass. Like, I'm going to be sharing all the tips, all the tricks, and all that at this masterclass. You guys get to see me live. I know I haven't showed myself on my YouTube yet, but you guys will see me get to speak about makeup with NARS, and you get $50 worth of product. Like, it's worth your while. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.